In the heart of a dense forest, the prince and princess stood, their faces lit by dappled sunlight filtering through the towering trees. The queen, bound and defiant, faced a smirking bandit. "Let me go," she demanded. "Choose wisely, your majesty," Bruno sneered. "Either crown me king or I'll take your precious son." "You'll never be king," the queen declared, her voice steady despite her fear. "Then your son it is," Bruno replied smugly. "No," she cried, her heart breaking at the thought. But how had the queen ended up in such a dire situation? Let's go back to where it all began. In the Kingdom of Culus, sorrow hung heavy in the air. The beloved king had passed away, leaving behind a grieving queen and her young son, Prince Raymond. Days turned into weeks, and the queen struggled to move on. Her once vibrant spirit was dimmed by grief. She barely ate and spent sleepless nights lost in her thoughts. One evening, Raymond approached her, concern etched on his face. "Mom, let's take a trip," he suggested. "I don't feel like going anywhere," she murmured, her voice hollow. "You've barely eaten or slept," he said gently. "Father would want you to be happy, please, Mom." After a long pause, she sighed. "All right." The next morning, they set out, traveling across rolling hills and meandering rivers. Their journey eventually brought them to a thick forest. The towering trees stretched endlessly, their leaves creating a green canopy that filtered the sunlight. "Ray, I'm tired," the queen said after hours of walking. As they wandered, they stumbled upon an old, weathered house. The walls were worn and vines crept over the wooden beams. "It looks abandoned," Raymond said, peering inside. "Let's rest here for the night." That evening, they shared a simple meal by the warmth of a roaring fire. The crackling flames cast dancing shadows across the walls as they spoke softly, reminiscing about happier times. Soon, exhaustion claimed them, and they drifted into a deep sleep. The next morning, the queen stretched and groaned. "My back aches," she said, rubbing her shoulders. "And I'm starving." Raymond chuckled. "I'll find a stream and refill our water. When I get back, we'll continue our journey." As Raymond ventured into the forest, the queen decided to explore the house. She wandered through its creaking hallways, unaware of the danger lurking within. Music. A shadow moved behind her. Before she could react, she was grabbed from behind. "Let me go," she yelled, struggling against her captor. The man chuckled darkly. Now, I'm the one calling the shots," he said, tightening his grip. The queen turned to face him, her eyes blazing. "Who are you?" she demanded. "The name's Bruno," he said with a smirk. "When I saw you and the boy enter last night, I almost fled, but then I realized royalty." "What do you want?" she asked, her voice steady despite her fear. "It's simple," Bruno said. "I want to be king." "You think it's that easy?" the queen scoffed. "Not unless you make it difficult," Bruno replied, his tone turning menacing. The queen refused, but Bruno, growing desperate, made a chilling threat. "If you don't agree, I'll send my men to capture your son, 20 dangerous thieves just like me." The queen's heart sank. She had already lost her husband. She couldn't bear the thought of losing her son too. With great reluctance, she agreed. "All right," she said softly. "I promise to make you king." Meanwhile, Raymond was at the stream, filling their water jugs. As he worked, he noticed a scruffy dog emerge from the bushes. The dog barked and tugged at his pants, as if urging him to follow. "What's wrong, boy?" Raymond asked. "Something must be up." He followed the dog deeper into the forest until they reached a hidden den. Inside, he overheard voices. "I deserve the biggest share," one thief said. "No, I do," another argued. Raymond crept closer, his heart pounding. He spotted a room at the end of the den. Inside, a young woman sat behind bars. "Who are you?" she asked, her eyes wide. "I'm Prince Raymond of Culus," he replied. "And you?" "I'm Princess Nessie of Splendia," she said, I was captured 2 days ago. Nessie explained how she had snuck off her ship to chase her dog, Sugar Muff, and ended up being captured by the thieves. Please, save me, she pleaded. What kind of prince would I be if I left you here? Raymond said with a smile. Raymond tried to free her, but found the bars too strong. The thieves mentioned a special sword, Nessie said. It's said to make the wielder invincible. It's hidden down there. With Sugar Muff leading the way, Raymond ventured into the depths of the den. He discovered a massive metal door, behind which the sword was hidden. This must be it, he thought. The dog squeezed through a small hole under the door and returned with the sword. As Raymond took it, the door suddenly crashed open. Did you do that? He asked, astonished. Armed with the sword, Raymond returned to Nessie and freed her. Together they fought off the thieves, with Sugar Muff cleverly distracting them. They escaped the den and hurried back to the house, but something felt wrong. Mom's horse is gone, Raymond realized. He raced back to the palace, only to overhear whispers among the townspeople. Poor Queen, that new king is a brute, one said. I heard he's actually a bandit, another whispered. Realizing his mother was in danger, Raymond sought help from Nessie. Together, they devised a clever plan to infiltrate the palace. Disguised as an oracle, Nessie gained entry with Raymond by her side. Bruno, blinded by his own ego, welcomed them in. Welcome, great oracle, he exclaimed. At Nessie's signal, her soldiers sprang into action, capturing Bruno and his men. Raymond! The queen cried, embracing her son. In the days that followed, peace was restored to Culus. The queen, Raymond and Nessie travelled to Splendia, where the two kingdoms celebrated their newfound alliance. Over time, Raymond and Nessie grew close, their bond deepening into love. One day, Raymond approached his mother. Mom, remember how you wanted me to find love? Yes, dear, she replied. Well, now I have. The queen beamed with joy, knowing her son had found happiness. Through courage, determination, and kindness, the two kingdoms thrived, proving that true strength comes from within.